guys, to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. If you like stuffed grape leaves, you're gonna love this recipe because it is like one big stuffed grape leaf that's perfect for entertaining for a crowd without having to do the tedious task of rolling a bunch of them, which is not that hard. But if you want to do this quick and easy, and it's also beautiful for presentation, today I'm going to teach you how to make Exohiko from Thessaloniki. It's delicious. It's perfect for entertaining. It's fall right now, and you might be getting ready for that time of year where you're going to have some guests over, maybe family. And if you are, this is the perfect starter to start off with, or like an appetizer or a side. Let's get started. So we're going to start off by finely chopping an onion. Add the onion to a pan, along with about a quarter or third of a cup of olive oil. And we're going to cook this over medium heat until it's nice and soft and golden. It should take about 8 to 10 minutes or so. Next, we're going to add a pound of ground beef. You could use ground beef, ground chicken, or even ground lamb. And we're just going to cook it for a few minutes until the pinkness disappears. We're going to season with some salt and some black pepper. And we're just going to cook this down over medium heat for about 7 or 8 minutes. Next, I have a cup of Basmati rice, but you can use any long grain rice that you have on hand. I'm also going to season the rice with a little bit of salt, about a half a teaspoon should do. And we're going to squeeze some lemon juice in here as well. The juice of a lemon. I'm just going to catch the seeds in my hand. And I'm also going to add a cup of water. I'm going to bring it to a boil, then I'm going to reduce the heat to a simmer, and I'm going to let it simmer for about 6 minutes, just until the rice is absorbed. Just until the water is absorbed. The rice is not going to be fully cooked, by the way. After about 5 minutes, the water should be absorbed. Then go ahead and put in the herbs. I'm using some mint, parsley, and some dried oregano, and give everything a mix and take it off of the heat. Next, we're going to add some grated Parmesan cheese in this. This is going to help it stick together. And it's also going to add great flavor. Give that a mix as well. Well, you can use this filling in anything. Put this in some peppers and you'll have some really good yummy stuff. Okay, I'm going to set this aside because the last ingredient that needs to go in is 2 eggs. I'm going to just beat them really quickly. And the best way to do this is to let the filling cool, but I don't really have time, so I'm going to temper it a little bit. Filling into the eggs to raise their temperature. This should keep them from scrambling once they go in. A little bit more. And then go ahead and add them in and mix everything all together. It's not traditional, but if you want a little bit of sweetness, you can definitely add some cranberries in here, some raisins. If you want some extra crunch, go ahead and add some toasted pine nuts. You can do lots of different things with this filling, but this is the traditional version, so that's what I'm showing you today. It's usually put together in a Bundt pan. If you don't have a Bundt pan, you could do an angel food cake pan. You could even put it in a pie pan. That would do as well. Or a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. But a pie pan would probably be better so you can have a little bit more volume in there. I'm going to drizzle olive oil in the Bundt pan, and hopefully we'll be able to take the dolma out once we're done. But I'm going to brush lots of olive oil in here for some insurance. Next, we're going to take the grape leaves. Now, grape leaves come in a jar and they're stored in brine, unless, of course, you have a grapevine growing in your backyard, in which case you'd be very lucky. I don't. So I'm going to layer about 3 leaves at a time to create a bottom layer, and I'm also going to bring the leaves up the side as well. And don't forget to cut off these hard stems. They're not really tasty. So just get a scissor. Just get them out of there like that. And what we're doing is we're basically lining the bottom and the sides of the pan because it's going to hold all of the filling. I would do shiny side to the pan and dull side up. So now we have everything lined up. We're going to put the filling inside. then just go ahead and spread it out so it's even. Now we're going to fold over the leaves that are hanging over the sides just to cover as much of the filling as we can. And then we're going to make another layer on top just to make sure that everything is nice and covered and snug. Now this would be much easier done in a pie pan because you would just do a layer on the bottom, up the sides, and then a layer on top, and then you don't even have to take it out of the pan. We're getting fancy today and we'll see how it turns out. I've done this one time before and it turned out well, and hopefully it'll turn out good this time. Otherwise I'll redo it and do it in a pie pan. Once that's done, go ahead and pour a cup of warm water over the top. It should absorb into everything. And then I'm also going to squeeze some more lemon. I think half a lemon should be good. And I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil. The oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to go in the center rack and bake for 30 minutes. After that, it's going to come out and you're going to have to leave it at room temperature for it to set and cool completely so that way it comes out of the pan easily. In that time, we're going to make a nice avgolemono gravy. I'm going to put this in and then we're going to move on. Okay, so now we're going to make the sauce that's going to go on top. I like to make an avgolemono sauce because it goes so well with the dolma. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 cups of chicken broth in a small saucepan that's heating over medium heat. And we're going to bring that to a boil. While that's happening, I have 2 egg yolks over here. To them, I'm going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm just going to break the egg yolks up a little bit. And then I'm going to add some lemon juice. Now you can make it as lemony as you want. I like my avgolemono extra lemony. So I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can start with 2 and then taste it later on. You could always add more to the sauce once it's done. This is kind of like a gravy and it tastes great pretty much on anything. You can make this over and serve it over fish, over chicken. It tastes so good over both of those things. So you're just basically mixing it all up until everything is nice and smooth. Once the chicken broth comes to a boil, I'm going to temper this mixture, the egg mixture. Really all that means is I'm going to add some of the hot broth into the egg mixture so that way the temperature rises so the sauce stays nice and smooth and it doesn't turn into scrambled eggs. Then I'm going to add the egg to the sauce and I'm going to cook it just for a few minutes until it gets nice and creamy and rich and thick. Taste it. I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and then that's it. It's ready. So in just 5 minutes the whole sauce is ready. It is time to give it a taste. It's perfect. Just lemony enough the way I like it. Doesn't need anything else. The only thing if you wanted to add to this is maybe a little sprinkle of dill. That would go really nicely too. So I'm just going to set the avgolemono sauce aside until we're ready to transfer the exohiko on a platter, and I'll show you what that looks like as soon as the time comes. The exohiko is ready. Once it comes out of the oven, set it aside for a good 45 minutes so that way it can set completely. So it's easy to transfer it onto a serving platter. In order to do that, go ahead and put the serving platter on top of the bundt cake pan and carefully flip it over. It should release easily if you did it right. Just make sure that you oil the pan really well before you layer everything in there all together. And then you're gonna have this beautiful grape leaf bundt cake, basically. That's what it looks like. It's beautiful to look at. It's going to be delicious to taste. The top is going to become the bottom, and the top leaves actually got a little bit crispy, so they're going to have really nice flavor and texture. Serve this with the avgolemono sauce on the side and like a little gravy boat or something like that, with a few lemon wedges, and you are good to go. Now, I would serve this as an appetizer, but you can serve it as a main course if you really want to. It is time to take a bite. I'm going to pour lots of that gravy on top. The rice and the meat are perfectly cooked and very flavorful. The grape leaves, I love the crispy ones on the bottom, and then the ones throughout are nice and tender, lemony, delicious, especially with the sauce on top. I think you guys are going to love this one. If you want to learn how to make tzatziki to serve alongside with this, which goes really well, click right over here and I will see you right over there. Yes, us.